Hi everyone, I'm Michelle, and welcome back to my podcast. In today's episode, we're sitting down with the incredible Margie Ward, who's opening up about her life with Parkinson's and how she's not just managing her symptoms, but truly living life to the fullest. Margie's story is all about resilience, joy, and making every moment count. So stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this inspiring conversation. Hi everyone, I'm Michelle, and welcome back to my podcast.
Welcome, Margie. Thank you so much for enduring the technology and signing on with me. I really do appreciate it. So, my intention here is for you to kind of share what your journey has been like with Parkinson's. Basically,
Okay.
when you discovered it, and kind of we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I will be 73 years old next month. I discovered that I had Parkinson's when I was 66, about 7 years ago. Actually, I was diagnosed on May 1st, 2017, and I was shocked. I was totally surprised. I was not expecting this. I had gone to the neurologist originally because I thought I was getting the beginning of arthritis. I had some stiffness on my right side, primarily my right foot. So when I walked for an hour or so, I'd have to drag it to get it to come along. So I just thought it was arthritis. I didn't think it was a big deal. But he diagnosed me with Parkinson's disease, and I was shocked.
Did you not have any tremors or any of those?
No, and that's what I know. A lot of people, think that tremors in the hands. I haven't had tremors yet, actually. But I'm having more symptoms. At the time, ironically, that very day that I found out I had Parkinson's, that afternoon I was teaching 4 or 5 ballet classes. That was my job at the time, teaching ballet. So that doesn't fit either. But I had to make some decisions, and I decided at that time that I would need to move to be near one of my sons. One son lives in Massachusetts. The other son lives in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I decided to go south because my 2 grandsons were also down here at the time.
And it's warmer and better climate.
And my other 2 grandsons hadn't been born yet up in Massachusetts. So I had to make a decision, and that's what landed me here, which was tough because I lived in Washington, D.C. all my life. And I raised my own kids there, and I was raised there, and I have lots of friends there. And that was a tough decision. But I did decide to move, and I did that summer. And then I took a job in my son's law firm, and I just retired this past summer. So I worked for 6 years down here. At the time, as I said, my symptoms were just kind of overall stiffness, but they were minimal. And when I came down here and people found out that I had Parkinson's, they said, "What? You have Parkinson's? I don't see anything. You look perfectly normal to me. You play good pickleball, You sure you have Parkinson's?" I got a lot of that because the first about 4 to 5 years, I had minimal symptoms, really things that I would notice, but other people didn't notice.
How did the doctor come up with that? Did they do any particular testing or?
Yes. What he actually did is when I initially came to him to complain about my stiffness, he, at the time, just because looking at different things in my body, he said, "It could be Parkinson's, but what we're going to do is we're going to put you on medication for 6 weeks and see if you feel better or not." And sure thing, when I went on this medication for 6 weeks, I came back and I reported to him that I did feel better. And that's because I was taking the Parkinson's medication. And that's kind of how he narrowed it down. So I had minimal symptoms first, but now in the last 2 years, my symptoms have really increased. And I have what's called freezing of the feet, which is the most troublesome of them. Sometimes when I go to, like, if I'm playing pickleball and somebody hits me a short ball, I try to run up to get it. My feet freeze. The feet kind of tremor, and they won't go at first. And that's very frustrating, but that's been one that's been happening for the past year or so. I'm a little unsteady. If I lean over, I have to be careful that I don't lose my balance. I get tired a lot faster. And even getting dressed in the morning just takes me a little bit longer. And then finally, my fine motor skills are getting worse too. When I'm writing something on a card, my handwriting gets progressively smaller, and I can't even read it sometimes, and it's just not very good. And so my symptoms have really been revving up. At first, I, like a lot of people, said, why me? What did I do to deserve this? I've taken care of my body all my life. I've been an exerciser. In high school, I played basketball and volleyball. I've taught dance. I've danced myself. I ice skate, I ski, I play tennis. I did all those things and walked and ran races and things like that. So, I had that first reaction of why me? It was kind of anger, if you will. And I think a lot of people go through that, but unfortunately, they don't know why people get Parkinson's.
Some people can speculate. Yeah.
Yes, there are some
things, but
there are some theories. There are some theories, but they're still just theories. They don't know for sure. Now, something unusual is one of my brothers has Parkinson's, and that's not a usual thing. Like other things, kinds of cancer and things like that do sometimes, travel in families. But my brother was diagnosed 2 years before I was diagnosed. He's 3 years older than me. And
they are finding more of a genetic component to this. So that's definitely a factor now.
And he had been a very active person all his life too. So I think the emotions I went through when I found out and was just adjusting to the whole idea was first anger, why me? And then fear, and am I going to be in a wheelchair soon? Then just overall depression and just sort of helplessness, because there is no cure.
Right.
They are working on things, and I have confidence that maybe in my children's lifetime there will be a cure, and that'll be a great thing. But I had lots of questions, and people have questions for me too. And I try to educate people. I think that's a good thing. They'll say, what does it feel like? They'll say, well, how long do you have? And my answers are often, they don't know yet. How, when I talk to my neurologist, she always tells me the same thing. I don't know what you'll be doing 6 months from now, Margie, but what she does know is that exercising is good for Parkinson's, very good for it. And I do my best. I lift weights. I do Tai Chi, which is great. I used to do spinning. I'm not doing it right now. I do the treadmill. I do some boxing. So I try to stay as active as possible, as I have been all my life. I like to be active and keep busy.
It sounds like you have a very good variety of exercises as well. You're not relying on just one thing to do, but you're targeting all the different areas, which is what the Parkinson's Foundation recommends. So that's really good.
Right. And I also play pickleball, which is sort of my happy place in life. I love pickleball, like a lot of people do, and it's very social, and it's just a lot of fun. But I know my days are numbered there, because I don't want to fall, and it's just getting to the point where it's hard for me to keep up. So what I think about a lot, I've actually signed up for the senior games in Guilford County, and I'm going to be doing some things alone and some things with a partner. And one of the things I'm going to do is bocce ball, which is simple for me to do. I might still, I can throw the ball fine. And we're going to do cornhole, and we're going to do badminton, and what else?
Croquet? Did you say croquet?
Yes, we're doing croquet. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I have to quit pickleball, and I probably will have to soon, I'm trying to plan ahead and have other activities, because I like to be competitive. Maybe I'll do bowling, being on a bowling team.
Ping pong.
Maybe. But I am competitive too, so I like to do something where they keep score occasionally,
Yeah.
and do that. And I also, what I'm doing for myself is, besides doing all the exercises I already told you, is I'm also doing, physical therapy and occupational therapy. Um, I can only do a certain amount of that that's covered by insurance a year, but I'm doing as much as that, and they help me a lot there. With the occupational therapy, they help me with learning, working with buttoning up and doing small motor type of
Yeah,
things and
fine
doing
motor
things,
skills.
and then doing things, excuse me, like getting things out of the cupboard and reaching for things in a safe way. And then physical therapy, obviously, they do all kinds of walking exercises and tell me to lead with my heel and things like that. I already did have a scary situation that you know about. I think that I fell right before Thanksgiving and I broke my hip. And that
But
set me back.
you've recovered so well. I cannot tell you. I have a lot of people to compare you to, Margie, and you have recovered so well from that. Phenomenal.
Well,
And I attribute all the exercise and things that you were doing before to that recovery. You were active, you were strong, and you were gung-ho about getting back to it. So kudos to you for that.
well, it wasn't fun, and I couldn't drive for like 6 weeks, and that was miserable. People had to help me get groceries and do things like that.
Yeah.
So I guess I got a little preview of what it will be one day when I can't do those things for myself. But I also, besides exercising, I do belong to a support group, which is great because it's great to sit down and talk to other people who understand what you're talking about and how you feel. I love my neurologist, Dr. Tat. She takes time with me and explains everything to me, and she's very encouraging to me. Like you just said, she says she's so glad that I'm still exercising.
Yeah.
And overall, I try to educate myself. I do a lot of reading about it too, and try to be on top of it. But the hardest thing is really, the overall hardest thing is not knowing where I'll be 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Will I be in a wheelchair? Will I, still be able to do, make Christmas cookies for my family at Christmas time? That was hard this year. I did it, and it seems like a small thing, but it's a big tradition for me.
Yeah.
And I know, as time goes on, I won't be able to do certain things. Having to ask for help is hard for me too. I've always been independent and like to do things for myself. But sometimes you just have, when I was in the hospital, I learned that I had to ask for help. But that can be hard. Not being in control of your own body is a hard thing. I have 4 grandsons, and I want to be active with them and go on hikes with them and do some special experiences with them. And I'm not sure how much I can do. These are all things that people think about, and traveling is going to become a little bit harder too, but I'm encouraged to keep trying. I'm not throwing in the towel by any means. Advice I would give to people is, first of all, find a doctor that communicates very well with you, that you feel comfortable with, and use that doctor as your most important resource. Don't waste time asking why me. That's a big one, because that's just negative energy, and we don't need that. And there is no answer to that anyway. Be proactive. Join a support group. Talk to your family about what's going on with you. Like I said, people before would say, oh, I know people are trying to be nice, and they'll say, oh, but you're doing so well. But when you're not feeling well, and you know that things are getting harder for you, it's you really have to sit people down and say, I'm not okay. It may seem like I'm okay, but I'm really not okay. I'm having a tough time. And that's something that's hard to do for a lot of people. But it's important because they need to know, where you are.
Right. I see too many patients, whether it be Parkinson's or not, who don't express those feelings to their family. And then they get to the point where they really need help. And the family's like, well, she's been doing it fine all this time. She never said she had trouble. So
Right.
I think it's really important that you are talking to them gradually as things get more difficult or challenging. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what I did last spring when I could tell things were revving up a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
got my two sons together with me and I just said to them, I'm not okay. I said, am I giving up? Am I dying? No, but I'm not okay. Things are getting
Mm-hmm.
harder. So I think
Right.
that's important. I try to also, when people ask me questions about it, I try to educate people because I think the more people that know about it,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they'll support,
Yeah.
like going on this walk that's coming up and things
Yeah.
like that. But people do have a lot of questions about what does it feel like, how come your hands aren't trembling all the time, because
Mm-hmm.
people have different symptoms. And also this is an obvious one, but you got to have a sense of humor, a sense of humor can go a long way, you know,
Agreed.
keeps the doctor away, I think. I also try to plan big and little things that I can look forward to keep my spirits up,
Yeah.
So it might be going on a trip. It might be just going out to lunch with a friend. It might be going
Mm-hmm.
on a hike. I asked for my birthday this year. All I want to do is go on a nice hike, be
Yeah.
out in nature and go on a hike.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see, because well, my legacy that I want to leave for my two sons and their wives and their children is that they remember when mom was going through Parkinson's, she didn't throw in the towel. She kept trying. She had a
Mm-hmm.
sense of humor about it. She,
Mm-hmm.
because that's something everybody runs into difficulty. Something happens to everybody. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
gets something eventually. And I feel that's maybe my purpose in this. I can be a good example.
Mm-hmm.
This past spring, I watched the documentary that Michael J. Fox made called Still.
Mm-hmm.
And it was inspirational to me. It was
Mm-hmm.
sad also. I cried during part of it when I saw him walking in New York City and fall on the sidewalk himself. And but it was also inspirational to me. I think the message of the documentary was, I have Parkinson's. Of course, he got early onset Parkinson's, and
Mm-hmm.
he's had it for 30 years. But he has a wonderful foundation,
Yeah.
doing wonderful work for Parkinson's. But basically, he was saying he went through a tough time. He was in denial. He was fearful. He was depressed. He actually
Mm-hmm.
developed a drinking problem for a short time. And then he decided, no, he wasn't going to let it define him.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing, is Parkinson's just one part of my life, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't define me. And that's what I got from that movie. So I am inspired by Michael J. Fox. And also, personally, I have another inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my oldest brother, who was born in 1942, was born with spina bifida. So he was paralyzed from his waist down his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But he was gifted in musical talents, and he could play the piano very well and gave lessons to children in the neighborhood. He played the church organ. He taught himself how to play the guitar. He loved music. He drove a car with hand controls.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I sit back and think about, he lived to be 33 years old. When I think about him, he is an inspiration to me. He had all these challenges, but he didn't let it get the best of him. He still lived his life. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
legacy, again, I want to leave my family, is
Mm-hmm.
what the legacy that my brother left for me. And I think that's where I derive some of my strength,
Mm-hmm.
remembering what he went through and what he had to conquer. And that's inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you um journal or do any kind of, even if it's just photographs of your journey? And I don't necessarily mean your Parkinson's journey, just mean your
Mhm.
life's journey, as a way to show that you are continuing to live life, not even to, monitor your symptoms. I recently heard a friend of mine, because I try to take a photo every day of what I do that day,
Oh,
just for whatever, just to remember. Last night I had dinner with a friend. I took a photo. This is what I did today. So she had actually heard that doing that helps us to almost slow down time and to appreciate those moments.
mhm.
I didn't know if you did anything like that, either for yourself or to leave for your family as something for them to see, that you lived life.
I have in the past. I don't do it all the time, but I have written down things. Especially when I am feeling a little extra, anxious or,
Mm-hmm.
having a bad day of some time. I find
Mm-hmm.
that it can be therapeutic to write down your thoughts, good and bad.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree that can be therapeutic. I agree.
I just like recording the positive things mostly. It's just about,
Yes,
this is the great thing that happened to me today.
right.
Because
And
I think we focus a lot on the negative and not on the positive things.
absolutely. And that's why I make it a point to plan things to look forward to. And also I belong to two book groups, and I love reading and I love discussing books. And I joined since I have retired. It's given me a lot more time to do things like that. And I really feel, lucky to be in that situation that I can do these different things.
Oh, yeah. Have you
And
considered writing a book, a
um,
memoir?
I haven't really. What I am doing is for my sons, I'm writing down. One son will be 45 this year and the other son will be 40. And they both actually wanted me to write down some stories about them growing up, And
Oh, yeah.
so I'm kind of organizing that and trying to follow up on that.
That's a
And
neat idea.
I do want to do one special experience with each one of my grandsons. Their ages are 16, 13, 5, and almost 3. And with one of them, I think we've decided we're going to do, what is it called? Parasailing.
Oh, I
Where
love
you
that.
go
I've
up
done
from
that. Yes.
you've done it? Oh,
I have. I did that on a trip I took with my mom to Bali, Indonesia. Oh, it was so neat. Yes, you basically are just floating up above as they pull you along over the water. Yes.
I've seen pictures
Wonderful.
of it, but that's my plan I want to have one special experience with each of my grandchildren. I
Especially those
might do,
older ones will remember. They're old enough now, at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel even with the younger ones, but they're a little harder because they're up in Massachusetts, but I'm sure I can find something to do with them.
Yeah.
But like you said, we can take pictures and they can have
Absolutely.
the photographs years from now. Because that's kind of important to me. I with my other two, my 16-year-old and 13-year-old grandsons, I got to spend a lot of active time with them, because before I had Parkinson's. And now I want to make sure that I have special time with my other grandsons too. I'm very family oriented. I grew up with 5 brothers and 1 sister. And
that's a lot of kids. Yeah.
But my brother out in California, the one that has Parkinson's, he had DBS too.
Okay.
So we trade stories and sort of support each other and talk about things. And that's very helpful. His
How has
DBS,
the DBS done for him? Was he happy he got it?
It helped for about 2 years, I'd say.
Oh,
It was
okay.
successful, but it doesn't last forever, And again, everybody's different.
Right.
And he's doing fine. He's not in a wheelchair or anything like that, but he says that his symptoms are starting to increase a little bit too. So he I think he gets tired a lot faster, and walking great distances is hard for him.
Is he as active as you are? At least
he is an active person. He does volunteer work. He has a poker group that he plays poker with once a week. He does billiards. Like I say, he exercises. I think he goes to a personal trainer a couple of times a week, and he does volunteer work. He goes to a senior citizen, place where people need help with accounting and things like that. He ran his own business. So yeah, I'd say he's pretty active. And he has a couple of grandchildren out there, and they get together. So, but, everybody gets something. And I think about that a lot, because I've had some friends my age who have had cancer, and a couple have passed away. And, I feel fortunate every morning I wake up and see the sun shining, but Parkinson's is, because it is such a mystery, they still don't know what, how to handle it.
A lot of questions unanswered.
There's still a lot of questions, and that's the frustrating part. Again, the most frustrating part is not knowing if 6 months from now I'll be in a wheelchair, or my hands will be, trembling. I have no way of knowing. So the best thing I can do is just keep moving, and, keep trying, and, not do anything that's really dangerous, but, keep moving and doing the best.
Not stopping. Yeah. You're not letting fear stop you from moving, because that's like the beginning of the end right there.
Right. And my neurologist just reaffirms that. She always says to me, just keep doing whatever you can, Margie, but don't stop, So she's been helpful in that regard too. But I don't know what else I can help you with.
I'm curious, after speaking with the other woman in our Tai Chi class who has yet to ever have actual physical therapy for her Parkinson's, when did you first get some sort of physical occupational therapy for your Parkinson's? How long into that?
I haven't had it that long. It's actually just been in the last year. But my neurologist, said, I can give you a referral. You have to get a referral if you want it to be covered by your insurance, which most people do. And so I got referrals. And then when I broke my hip this past fall, I had to get OT and PT for that. They actually came to my home to help me with that. And then I think they continued with it, but it's really very good.
What was it that made you decide, okay, it's time for me to get therapy for the Parkinson's?
Well, actually, I was just telling my doctor, my neurologist, that my symptoms were increasing, and I was having a harder time doing certain things that I didn't have before. But she still says, she makes me walk out in the hall, and she said, you're walking great, but she's the one that she said, I can give you a referral for OT and PT. And I said, great, I'm all for it, and they really do have some different things and different ideas, way to help you with your, there, a lot of it is, fall prevention,
Right. And you saw, I believe, people who are specialized in Parkinson's, correct? Because there is a world of difference, really. A regular physical therapist can help, but they're not going to be as specific to the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. So I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, Amy Marriott is one of the ones that gives me PT, and she's very involved in Parkinson's. She does.
I think she does a lot of the power moves, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever participated in any dance for Parkinson's since you were a dancer?
I haven't. I like the Tai Chi class for Parkinson's, but I purposely do the other two classes because I want to be in with the regular people, and try to keep up. I know they have Parkinson's for pickleball too. And I went to the event that they had at the, what is it called? Power Over Parkinson's group that meets every month.
Oh, right, where they had the dance people
Yes,
there. Mhm.
yeah, you were
Yeah.
there too, right?
Yeah.
Right. And when I looked at the picture, I saw people sitting in chairs, doing the dancing. And I have to be honest, that doesn't appeal to me.
Yes.
Another thing that I have, and I don't think I'm the only person like this, but when I went to one of those events a few months ago, there was a nice gentleman who was making a comment about whatever they were talking about that day. And he had some good comments and everything. But it was hard for me because he was, his head was jerking the whole time.
Okay, you had a lot of that dyskinesia.
Very dramatically. And that's hard.
Yes.
That's hard when you're sitting next to somebody who's doing that. And again, you're thinking, is that going to happen to me, next month or 6 months from now? It can be a little discouraging.
Yeah.
So I purposely try to be, like I say, I go to the Parkinson's support group and I go to some other events, and that's fine. But I also want to be with people that don't have Parkinson's a lot, and do things for them, because that can discourage.
Let me change the question then, Margie.
Sure.
Have you taken any type of dance type classes, not related to Parkinson's? Because
I do the silver sneakers sometimes, as you know.
Yeah.
At the Y, and that has a little dance in it.
Yeah.
But
try.
I haven't really taken a dance course, no.
Because they do have dance classes for the regular dance classes. I didn't know if that would be something that would interest you, salsa and ballroom, so. But I know you're very busy.
But my point is, I like to do some Parkinson's things, but I also like to do regular things and be with.
I get it.
Like that's my pickleball crowd. They're. But that's gonna be hard. I'm gonna be a little down, I know, because I know myself that when I have to give up pickleball, because it is so much fun. But I want to be realistic too. Yeah. So I'll just have to go.
You already seem to have some things in mind that
yes, I'm trying to think of things that can replace it, that are also social and competitive at the same time. So
yeah, I think that's smart. Yeah.
But I'm going to go up. I'm excited. I'm going to go visit some friends that I knew from high school. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to. After I go to Boston to see my grandchildren up there, I'm flying to DC and seeing a lot of old friends, and
nice.
I'm really happy about that. That'll be a really good thing for me. And I will invite people to come visit me where I am too, but it's hard when you get older, you don't travel as much. So, but though having those little and big things to look forward to can help out a lot. Like I'm really looking forward to these senior games, and I don't care if we win or lose,
It's just the fun. Yeah.
It's just going to be fun to get out there and play croquet,
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Fun of it. And I don't know, I might think of other clubs and things I can do eventually, like I do the book club, and it's a new group of people and it's something different, and I want to keep as active as I can. So
I think you're doing great at that. That's why I wanted to talk to you today, because you are a really good role model for the activity that you pursue. So many different things, and you don't just say, well, I walk every day. There's so much more to it than that.
Oh yeah, you have to always be trying new things, whether you have Parkinson's or not. That's a given. Trying new things. I mean, computers are my big challenge.
Okay. It's all right. All right. We all have challenges.
It's a miracle we're doing this, but again, having children of my own, grown children, it's important to me that I leave something positive for them, and that really motivates me. And I know that eventually things will happen to them, and they're going to have to, like I drew strength from my brother thinking about him. you can draw strength from different people and different situations. And that's what I try to do. I've had a good life, you know, I've been so active and done so many things, and I've been blessed. And you know, for example, I played basketball in high school, and now I'm enjoying watching all the basketball for March Madness, you know.
Yeah.
And I've been so fortunate, you know, to have everything that I've been able to do and travel and, you know, try new things. And I'm going to do the parasailing. So,
yay!
And I even said to somebody, if one of my grandsons said they wanted to jump out of a plane, I might think about doing that. So,
oh my gosh, I draw the line there. Draw the line. No, can't do that. Yeah. Well, Margie, I have to say that you are an inspiration. Just like as you've been inspired by other people, you can be definitely an inspiration to other people. So definitely.
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
we all have to try and, you know, make this world a better place. And, you know, as I said, everybody's going to get something eventually. And
pretty much.
We all have to deal with it. And you have your good days and your bad days. You have to be realistic. And that's what I try to do.
Yeah. We're not alone. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for being such a patient and kind Tai Chi teacher too.
Oh, thank you.
I never did Tai Chi before, and I'm really enjoying it. It really takes you into another world. And you know, while I'm in there doing it, I'm just thinking about that. I'm not thinking about other things, you know, or worrying about anything.
That's what I'm trying to get across. This is our time. Feel mindful and
I try to do that in general. I try to just zero in on what I'm doing and not think about all the other things that I need that happen. And I try to be, that's mindfulness. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's something else I haven't done a lot of, just a little bit of meditation and that sort of thing. But I do develop strategies for relaxing. And, you know, for example, after dinner in the evenings, I don't open any mail. I don't answer phone calls if I don't feel like it. You know, it's my winding down time, you know. And over the years, I've developed that strategy, and it really helps me. So
that's a good one.
That's what we all have to do, is develop strategies to, you know, help us through all kinds of situations. So, but I'm lucky.
Now that it's warming up, you know, well, as it warms up, I hope to meet in the park or something, and we can do Tai Chi out there and do, you know, just.
I'd love that.
Yeah,
I'd love that.
So we'll do little pop-ups here and there.
When you see Tai Chi, it's often they're outside. You know?
I just have to find a place that's level enough that, you know, it's not too.
Oh, sure.
Throw us off, but
maybe Burmell Park.
Yeah. So I'll check out some areas, and on a nice day, I'll holler out to everybody. Let's go meet.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
That'd be fun.
Well, I hope I was a help to you. I hope I had.
Absolutely. I truly enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
My pleasure. Thank you.